right. So this is for week 5. Our, I guess, topic is going to go over the snowstorm from last week and then social media and how that can affect ourselves and the people around us. I'll go first and talk about my experience for the snowstorm last week. Was that last week?
It was, I think, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, it was 2 weeks ago.
Was it? Oh,
It was like a week. It was like the week of like right after Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Like that's when it was on Valentine's Day.
Okay, but then last week we had a couple of days to adjust. Okay.
Yeah, we had till like Wednesday last week.
Yeah.
Got it. I was like, that wasn't last week. But it was really tough for me because the lights and the power kept on going off, and like some nights I had to sleep like cold and coddled up, and I just felt like I was like in the trenches. Like I was just living out a cardboard box, and I was just couldn't wrap my head around what was going on. And I was like, I paid too much money for this to be living like I don't have no money. And then on top of me being pregnant, I was just trying to stay warm for my little baby, and then trying to eat some food. Oh yeah, I didn't go grocery shopping that week. So I just had a little bit of stuff. And so me and my roommate had to go out and had to go food surfing. And then they only accepted cash. So luckily we had a bank for USAA in San Antonio that was actually here in San Marcos and was open. So I was like, oh, thank God. So we got cash and we had to eat like gas station food for a couple of days. Yeah, times was hard. Times was hard, guys. I'm just glad I'm here. I'm glad y'all are here because that was not it. I'm traumatized. Low key.
Yeah, it felt weird coming back to school and doing stuff again because I was like, we were gone for so long and it just felt weird. It felt like it was real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alternate reality for real.
Yeah.
I was kind of lucky because I was able to go home that Friday before the snowstorm hit. And so I was back down in Houston with my family. And I mean, it made it better because I was with them. So I was with more people than just like me and my roommate.
Right.
It sucked for my roommate a lot because he lost power. I think we lost power here at the apartment. I want to say like Sunday night. And we didn't get power back here till I want to say around Wednesday. And he had to leave. He drove all the way back home to Houston as well because we had no power, we had no water. He had nothing to eat anymore. Like we hadn't gone grocery shopping either. So he drove all the way back home on Wednesday. And then Houston, where I was, we kept like losing power and losing water on and off. So it'd come back for a couple hours, it'd go back off. So it was kind of, you weren't really sure when you're going to have power, when you're going to have water, if you're going to have it together at the same time. Like it was really just a mess. And the roads were a mess. Grocery stores were crazy. Everything was out. Like that was an interesting week, I'd have to say. We were not prepared for that at all.
Oh.
Yeah, it was an interesting week for me in a few different ways. I originally went to my parents' house, who ended up losing power and water for the whole time. But then right before the snowstorm hit, I went downtown, just kind of on a whim. And then I ended up just getting really lucky. So I ended up going and like getting my parents after a day or two, and then picked up a bunch of friends and had them come stay with me. And then eventually, like right where my building's at, there's like a Trader Joe's right by the bottom. And I just got lucky one day, like happened to hop in line when there was only like 10 people in line, and then like 200 people got in line behind me. So I was able to get like plenty of food, but I got enough food to feed like a ton of people. So I was just cooking everyone food. But one of the crazy parts is the view from my condo. Normally it's just like a whole city of twinkling lights, and it was just dark. Like I could see like the squares of just like blackouts all over the place. It was nuts. Yeah, I can't believe that happened.
Yeah. Eesh. That thing was tough. So were your like parents close, or did they have?
No, I mean they lived like 14 minutes away. Like they don't live. They live in Austin, just not downtown Austin. So they live
Oh.
like out in the hills a little bit towards the lake. So, but they were. My mom didn't want to drive her Tesla in the snow, so I went and picked them both up and the dog.
Okay, that's cool. Oh, that's like a happy ending.
Yeah, it ended up working out.
Yeah, I think the rolling power outages just like really, as Alex was saying, you don't know when it was gonna come. So we're like eating and using the stove, and I'm like getting fat, and I'm just like, I don't know, like when's the next time I'm gonna have heat? Like what is going on? So yeah, the hot mess. And then the politics behind it. But I'm my comments to myself about that.
And one thing I know a ton of people haven't thought about, but it was a big problem in Austin, is like a lot of homeless people passed away that week.
Yes.
Because I mean, like, although we didn't have heat or power, we're still in like an insulated building, which is better than being in a tent or in a box or on the sidewalk. And so I know like a bunch of like furniture companies and all kinds of places downtown were just like walking around giving out like everything that they could for people to like get warm and stuff like that. And then there's a coffee shop in the bottom of my building, and they didn't have, I know the general manager, and she's like, none of my employees can get here. And I was like, well, I'll come down and like help you for the day. And so we just sat there and gave out black coffee to people for free for like 4 days. We do all that.
I think we're fine.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, y'all. My Wi-Fi went off. Let me.
That's okay.
I hope it recorded.
Do we still have that like?
Yeah, because
10
it's still
minutes of
recording.
recording?
I think we do.
Okay, cool. Okay, that's fun. We're all like, that was good content. I'm just kidding. Do you guys think we should talk about this week's questions now or what?
Yeah.
Yes.
So the first question is consider how the concept of the global village and or the idea of an interconnected world has shaped you as a person. Share your thoughts with the group and explore how you think you would be different had you grown up in a different time with no internet or social media. I can go first.
Okay, go.
So let me get some water. When thinking about like how we have the internet for everything, I think there's always advantages and disadvantages. I think it's good because we're able to network with each other, and we have the internet right by our side in our phones and our computers around us and our watches. If you have like a Fitbit or an Apple Watch, I think it's extremely convenient. And just like when it comes to social media, I use Twitter. I'm very interactive with my followers. So I have, friends in different cities. And I think without the internet or social media, then I guess I wouldn't have that. It would just be meeting people locally, and, that's cool. But, sometimes you want to meet other people, different people. The disadvantages that I have noticed is, first off, I wanted to comment on Instagram. I think they're in the process of, I've heard them like taking away the number of likes. I still have my likes viewed, but some people don't. And I know like a lot of influencers and people that get a lot of likes are complaining about it, because I think it's because, it makes them relevant, and, it's for clout if they have a lot of likes. So without that, they're kind of just like, who am I? Oh my gosh. And I think it's just like, okay, like you have really relied your personal self-esteem and you as a person on likes. And I'm like, that's kind of strange to me. You know, maybe in the influencer world, it's normal and how they talk and do stuff, but I just think it's very odd. And another example I have is the babies growing up. I understand like technology is really important right now, and you know that's what the babies are good at, and techno tech technology savvy and all that. But I have seen a video of this newborn. She had like birthed the child like 2 days before. She's already setting up the iPad to the kid. The kid's watching it. The kid's dancing and it's cute. But it's like, come on now. You can't sing to the baby. You can't talk to the baby. You can't do other stuff for the baby. You're just kind of letting the iPad get its attention. And then, you know, I've seen videos of bratty kids. I want my iPad. I want it now. And I'm just like, what is this world coming to? So, thought about the internet ratio.
It's so funny that you bring up the stop like counting or whatever, because that's like exactly what I touched on in my reimagining Instagram presentation that I did for the class. But yeah, I agree with that. Like, I feel like a lot of people base their self-esteem off like how many likes or engagements that they get with their posts, which is really sad. But yeah, I feel like the global village with like the impact of social media on us, it's so much bigger than it was ever before, and I feel like it's just going to continue to get a lot worse in a way where we rely so much on like validation from other people when it comes to social media. And I mean, obviously there's advantages, like, you know, you have a greater outreach, you can connect with other people like you said, but there's definitely some huge downfalls to that as well, just of the influence that we have let social media have over us is kind of concerning.
Yeah, I agree with that. With the influencer like likes and stuff, I feel like they do it more for like to get sponsorships, and that like the likes based on are based on like sponsorships and like companies reaching out to them. So yeah, I feel like for me, the more like in depth we go with social media, like on the long run, the more lost we are with reality. Like we lose touch with reality a lot, and then with the communication of people like in person rather than just social media, we're losing like all that.
Yeah, so what I had written down for this week was just to change the like topic a little bit, but what I'd written down for this week was just like how growing up with the internet was great. Like we were all part of a generation that kind of grew up in the perfect time of the internet. It was when we had access to the internet, but we weren't always surrounded by it. So like we got introduced to like we all had flip phones when we were the youngest, and then we moved to touch screens finally, and then like Instagram came along, and then YouTube came along, and then Facebook came along. So like we kind of got to evolve with social media, and so we grew into it really well. But it definitely concerns me, people who are getting born into it now, you know, as like dominant as it is over people's lives. I'm worried about like what it's going to be like when the kids who are being born right now are our age. You know, because it's like you said, a 2-week-old baby or a 2-month-old baby playing with an iPad. It's like, are they ever going to go out and play in the street or make friends? You know, that's kind of stuff I worry about when I have kids. It's like, personally, I'm not going to want my kids to be sucked into all the electronics, but at the same time, if all their friends are and they don't have any people to go play outside with, then what am I supposed to do? You know, it's like you kind of have to do whatever the world's evolving to. So I personally don't think it's the most healthy habit that we've built, but the internet's also a great thing. I mean, everyone has the ability to learn now. Like you don't have to go to college necessarily to learn. Everyone can learn for free on the internet, and it's accessible to pretty much everybody. Even if you don't have a phone, you can go to the public library and get on a computer. So I think the beauty of it is that anyone can access it, but that's also kind of the evil of it too. So
Yeah, good stuff. The next question, I think we kind of dibble dabbled into it a little bit. It's, how do you think social media and the internet will continue to evolve in the future? And then how do you think these changes will impact society and pop culture? I wrote that I think society right now has a grip on people. And we kind of talked about it, that I think that grip is gonna get tighter. And, I heard some people talking about how one day they think it's gonna be, well, this is I think it's kind of off topic, but it's kind of on topic. Like, in person, you use cash or a card, right? When you use cash, it has nothing to do with the internet, it has nothing to do with tracking, blah, blah, blah. When you use a card, it uses the internet, it has tracking or whatever with the chip. People are saying that, oh yeah, people think that cash is going to stop. You're just going to use debit cards. And in a way, that's kind of like, okay, now it's just cards, now it's just technology. So that relates to, I think everything is just going to start going digital. I think it's going digital right now with, I had a storage unit, and for the storage unit, I used to work there, and they used to print out the papers, right? And so you sign them, you have them, physical copy, blah, blah. Now everything is going out electronically, which is not necessarily a bad thing because it is saving paper. So I don't know. I feel like the way the world is going, it's not all negative, but it's not all positive. I think that there has to be a balance in just the way we live. Excuse me.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Definitely everything is going to like digitalize. For example, my mom at her job, she works in the medical field, everything is going digitalized. So like, I think it was like a couple years back, it was scanning papers and then putting it up on the computer. Now it's just everything. You have to fill out this iPad and like fill out all the information and stuff. So yeah, I definitely see everything going towards digital. With the money, I think that's actually happening in a country right now. That it's all credit card now. I think somewhere in Europe, there's just
Okay.
credit cards now. But yeah,
Yeah.
I do see that happening. I feel like it's gonna happen eventually.
I agree with that as well. With the whole money, we're gonna have to start using like credit cards and debit cards more, and we won't really be able to use cash. I also see like Chick-fil-A and like other even gas stations and some other stores, they let you use like Apple Pay or like different types of apps that you can pay with, which is crazy. I would have never thought you could pay with your phone. So that's definitely something that's evolving. And like how you guys were talking about, like, other jobs and other things becoming more digitized. I went to the doctor recently and I found it funny that they really like have everything set through this like app now. And whenever you used to go to the doctor, you used to fill out like a whole bunch of forms in advance while you were there. Now it's like you can all just do it from your phone and submit it before you even get there. And that's just, it's a lot more convenient, but it's like just crazy how everything's little by little is changing.
Yeah, one thing, just kind of about you saying that, social media has a grip on society. One thing I was reading that Apple's getting investigated for, I don't know if this is true for you guys, because I don't know if you keep your phones in your pockets or purse or whatever, but I mean, I always have my phone in my pocket, and I swear I'll feel my phone buzz, and there's still like nothing happened actually. Like I'll go look, I have no emails or texts or notifications or anything. For the longest time, I thought it was because my body had built like a muscle repetition in my leg, like the muscles in my leg were twitching because it was expecting a notification. But I found out that Apple is getting investigated for pushing buzzes onto people's phones to purposely get them to open the phone up and increase screen time on the phones. And so it's like purposely getting, like, if people haven't used their phones for more than an hour, Apple will buzz your phone, and then it'll encounter you to open up, and you never just open it up, check that you have nothing, and put it away. Like you open it up and you're like, well, I might as well click on Instagram or something. And so I know they have been in like cahoots with a bunch of other people, and it could be that they're like purposely clicking people to try and get them to get on social media, which is kind of scary. And the other thing that scares me, I personally, I'm kind of against cash. I don't use it. I never have cash in my wallet. I love using credit cards, but the thing that I fear about going only to credit cards is eventually all the credit cards companies will buy each other, and it'll just become a huge monopoly, and then one company controls all the interest rates and all of the whatever. And that's what kind of scares me. Cash used to be just like, well, if you had the amount of cash you had, that was it, but it's definitely interesting. There's pros and cons to digitizing stuff like that.
Wow. I didn't know the whole investigation with Apple was happening, but I have experienced that where I thought it was just only me. That I'm glad someone else.
No, it's real. It's definitely real. Yeah.
I was like, I swear this thing buzzed, and I look at it and nothing's there. So I'm like, maybe I'm tripping. Like, better. I just.
Well, did anyone have anything else to say? Because we're at 22 minutes for the day.
I think we're good.
I'm glad everyone made it through the snowstorm safe. It's good to talk to y'all again.
About to